Hello, my friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time of day you are joining me. I hope that it has been well for you. So, I am Asha Zalika, and I am the host of this podcast, Unapologetically Free, Authenticity the Hard Way. So, let me give this disclaimer right quick. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's just get that out the way. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm looking at this little microphone. It's not even my microphone. It's my son's microphone. I got the Chromebook, and I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that I have a calling. I have a mission. I have a purpose, and I have a passion. And that passion is you. Yes, you. My passion is to help you find who you truly are, to walk the journey to authenticity out with you. And not that I have arrived. I don't even know what the true arrival is, but I do know that today I can look at myself in the mirror and say, girl, I love you. I see you. I love the woman that you have become. And I believe that once you get to the point where you can embrace yourself with all of your quirks and inconsistencies and mild-tempered crazy behaviors that we can have at times. Once you can get to the point where you understand that who you are is the most important thing in life, then you have reached a certain level of authenticity. We have been inundated with information now with the spread of the internet, and we have social media and all the things that have happened. How do I want to say this? We've got lost in a cauldron, a great big pot of stuff that I believe has cast a shadow over who we really are. We have, I think, with the advent of reality TV, watching people faithfully live out their lives on TV or on social media, it's kind of skewed our perception of what real is. Everybody been trying to keep up with the Kardashians, and I'm trying to figure out why. And who in the world were the Joneses back in the day? What this podcast is about is you and me finding us wherever we are, and starting from that place and going forward and upward. I have, in my first podcast, I said that I had been sitting on this idea for 7 months and finally just decided to just jump in. Once again, not knowing what I'm doing, but just knowing that I have a voice and I have something to say. And it took me 7 months to actually speak in this way, but I actually started 2 years ago, in March 2020. 2 years ago. I went to Tennessee to reunite with my husband, now ex-husband, and decided to make my way back to the stage. So I'm a bodybuilder. I started bodybuilding when I was 13. Stopped when I was 19. And have been trying to get back on stage for 35 years. And 2021, was it 21? I don't know. Yeah, 21. Made my mind up to make it back to the stage. And so as I started my prep, it came to me to share little bits of revelations that I received during my journey back to stage. So that's a key point right there, is that my journey back to stage was actually the pivot point for me finding my way back to me, because bodybuilding is a core of me. I have two. We all have core parts of us. The first being, for me, is writing. I am an author, and I started writing when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, doing little poems. And that is my happy place. I love to write. And then the second part is being a bodybuilder. And those two things have kept me and saved me all of my life. Honestly, I have written my way through serious depressions. I trained my way through bouts of suicide. And so those two combined make the solid platform for who I am. And so as I was making my way, doing my prep for the show, I started getting on IGTV, which they got rid of. That broke my heart. And they didn't even ask me if I approve of these real thingies. They just took my IGTV away and just kind of cut me off. Anyway, that's just a little part of my bunny trails. It just go off on a tangent sometimes. But y'all just stick with me. We're going somewhere. So every morning I would get up, and on my way to the gym or in the gym or on the way back, or even during some of my distance runs, I would just hop on and share what was in my spirit. And we'll talk about that, revelations, in another podcast. But that was actually the starting point, I guess you could say, for this moment right now. But as during my training, I met a friend at Gold's Gym in Tennessee, and we just started talking, and I was telling him about my idea and my business and how I want to help impact people in their lives and everything. And he was like, he totally understood, and just in the course of a conversation, it was like, we should just talk about these things. It's like people need to know, and his story is amazing, and we will be doing an interview with him sometime soon. But he was like, girl, yeah. It's like, we could do a podcast, we could do whatever. Let's just talk it out. And that was it. I got so excited when he said that. I was like, wow, yeah, podcast. And so here I am. I go back home and I start writing notes and everything, and I shared it with my husband, and not so happy. It did not work out. Not that it couldn't, but it just caused too many issues in my relationship. So I let it go. And it broke my heart. It hurt me because I was very excited about it. And my hope for it was kind of crushed, and so I left it alone until October 2022. I had actually made me and my son homeless on purpose. I was in pursuit of something greater than what I was being offered, and I was in a situation where, had I not ran, I would not have survived. And the little things that I'm hitting on right now, these little points like that one right there, we'll talk about in depth later on. I'm just laying the foundation right now for this podcast. So I made me and my son homeless, and we came back to California, got in an emergency shelter program, and from there I got an amazing job that was offered to me. I did not apply for it. And then in October, I was faced with, again, staying in a situation that could have benefited me monetarily and materially, but would have destroyed me mentally and emotionally. And so I had to make the decision. You have someone that's offering you a house, someone that's offering to take care of you, which is something that I have always felt I needed. I never felt like I could live life on my own. And that stems from my father telling me when I was a little girl that I was worthless and I would never amount to anything. So here I am faced with an opportunity for for all of my basic needs being met versus continuing my course to authenticity, because deep within me I knew that I was worth far more than I had been settling for. And I knew that God has an ultimate plan. So was I going to stick with what I intuitively knew, or was I going to dive into the security of what I saw? So I chose me. And in October, me and my son moved into Motel 6. And I say that with pride because we were so happy. We packed up our stuff, left the house, and moved into Motel 6. And I talked to some people, and why would you do that? Why would you do that? I had just started my job. I was getting paid every week, and my plan was that I'm going to find me here in this motel. I'm going to pay for this room every week. I'm going to get myself to work every day, and I'm going to lay a new foundation for me and my son based on who I know myself to be, and pour all of my intention into cultivating that woman and letting the needy woman rest in peace. And that was an amazing pivot for me. So on this road to authenticity, you have to understand that this road is not a straight shot. Not at all. There are going to be some hills and mountains to climb. It's going to be some valleys and holes that we traveling down, falling down, sliding down, spiraling down that seem not to have an end. And then all of a sudden that bad boy is going to pivot left, right, straight up. We don't know. But what I do know is that if we just stay the course, no matter how scary it is, no matter how intimidated we feel, no matter how lonely, and let me tell you, this road to finding out who you are is a lonely road. You are not alone because you have unseen forces working with you. But in this world that we live in, you're going to be lonely because not everybody is supposed to be on this journey with you. And that's one thing. We're going to have to cut some people loose. You're going to have to let some people go. Period. That's another show. Anyway, I'm in Motel 6. I sat in that bed and I looked up, and I'll never forget the day. I looked up into the ceiling, and there was just a calming, encompassing feeling of security that I had, because I was doing it myself. And I heard, this is your true self. This is who you are. And now you can talk about it. And then the idea came about the podcast that I had a year ago before that. So I sat on that bed and I started writing down stuff and notes and all these different things, and went online and found Spreaker and all this. And so I had it on. I went to work and I was telling two of the teachers where I work, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And they like, yeah, you should do it. You should do it. And was ready. And then boom, another pivot. And something happened that diverted my attention. But it's okay, because within that pivot, I expanded, I grew, I found more of my true self. So then another pivot, boom. And I found some more of myself. And this is within a 4 or 5 month period. I went through radical change to this moment right now. And now it's time to speak. I was reading Cicely Tyson's book. I hope some of you know I'm old. I'm 51 years old. I hope you young people know who Cicely Tyson is. If not, Google tell you. Siri will tell you. You can find out. She finally wrote her autobiography before she died. And there's a statement in there where she said that people had been telling her for years that she should write her story. And her response would be, no, I'm not ready yet. And they're saying, but you've done this and you've done this and you overcame this and you're helping with this and da-da-da-da-da. And she kept saying, no, it's not time. And then one morning she got up and it was time. And she told an author or someone, she's like, it's time for me to speak now because I have something to say. And that's where I am right now. I have something to say. I have a whole lot of experience that I have to share. And, I don't have any degrees. I have not won any awards, or I'm not a social media socialite or anything like that. What I know is that I have experience. And experience is the best teacher. And my hope is that by sharing all that I've been through, and I'm telling you, in these episodes, we're going to get down and dirty. If you don't like curse words, I don't know how to bleep on here like they do on TV, so excuse us. But it's raw. This podcast is raw, and that is why it is the cause or the reason for my cover picture that I have for this podcast. That's just me. I've had a few people tell me, no, you shouldn't use that. That's kind of seductive, and that's that's not standard, and I don't care. Listen. But I did my research, so when I got Spreaker, I went and I read all the articles and watched the doggone videos and everything. And I went through and I looked at, hundreds of people's cover pictures for their podcasts. And I'm looking and I'm seeing all these. And at first I started getting in my feelings because I was looking at all these women and they were dressed up, had their makeup done. Some had on 3-piece suits, just fantastic stuff. Real eye, peeling to the eye, and look at her. Okay. And then I thought, you know what? That's not me. That's just not me. When I do something, I'm totally me. And so the picture that I took that's on my cover for this podcast, I was just sitting on the bed. I did my workout, ate, showered, and I was sitting on the bed, and I just took the picture. I was like, shh, here we go, boom. Because that's just me. I'm just ain't got no makeup on. I'm not hiding. Now, I'm not saying don't get in your feelings and be like, oh, she's saying wearing makeup. That's not what I'm saying. This is me. That picture, take a look at it. That's just me. And all I'm giving you is just me. I don't have no filter. I don't have no fluff. I don't have just me, raw, authentic. And the people that I'm going to talk with and have join me and share their experiences, it's just raw. Because that's what we need nowadays. Everything is all morphed out into something that is not nowadays. We gonna get down to dirt and just be there and be real and exposed and vulnerable and whatever else word you want to put on just being real. We're going to put the real back in real. That's what we're going to do. So that's it. That's how this podcast has come alive. Through pain. But it's necessary. Pain is necessary. Heartache is necessary. Turmoil is necessary. Rejection is necessary. Loss is necessary. Because without those things, we'll never understand and appreciate the opposite. So you won't know how to appreciate abundance if you didn't know loss. You would not know true joy if you haven't known the depths of depression. You won't have the capacity to embrace life and love life as it is if you have not experienced the loss of life or death. So all these different things we're going to talk about. And I am so grateful for you being with me. Tell a friend. Just tell a friend. Like I said, I have a list of people that have agreed to share their stories with us. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. And that's another thing. Like, this is so not scripted. It's so not scripted. I read some stuff and say, you should have a script and you should have an outline and then that's not me. I'm just coming straight from the heart, straight from the head. I don't know which way this thing gonna go when I open my mouth. I don't know. So if you're in your car, put your seatbelt on. If you're on the couch, hold on to a pillow. I don't know what might come out of my mouth. But so no script, just spirit. And I am a writer, and so I will be sharing. You know what? Yeah, there we go. Steve Jobs said that in life, you cannot connect the dots going forward. You can only connect the dots going backwards. And so during like 2018, 2019, something like that, I found medium.com and I started writing and putting pieces on medium.com. So over these years, I have lots of them. Stories, some poems, some just my life is on Medium. And after I did the first episode, I was sitting there thinking about it, going over in my head, and I realized that the stories, the pieces that I have posted on Medium are now kind of like bullet points for this podcast, because all I write about is me and my journey. And so the only thing is that, I love Medium and I will continue to write, but I am starting my own blog. But you can only read the stories on Medium if you have a membership. And I don't like that. So I will be sharing some of my pieces during some of these episodes to kind of give more clarity, and just to paint pictures in your head about what we're talking about. So yeah, we're going to do a whole lot on here. But like I said, just stick with me. We're going somewhere. Thank you for joining me for today. And I think on the next episode, see, I say I think, so don't quote, but I'm just going to go into more depth of who I am and where I've come from. And yeah, so see, here I am sitting here. I don't know what time it is. The sun just came up. And I'm happy. I'm joyful. I am full of excitement. And I know, wait a minute, I know I'm supposed to say something, because I was, like I said, I did my research. Oh, yeah, so before I leave, I'm supposed to say something like, subscribe. I don't know if it's subscribe, because, I'll be watching them YouTube videos and everybody say, subscribe and follow me or whatever. So whatever you're supposed to do, like on your podcasting, what you're listening from, follow me, subscribe, whatever that is. Just get on this train right here. And then I think I'm supposed to say, like, you can find this podcast, Unapologetically Free, Authenticity the Hard Way, on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, Podchaser. I ain't even heard of this stuff. Podchasers, Podcast Addicts. It's a whole bunch. It's a list. You can find me. The only place I know I'm not at is Apple, because I don't have one. I have not authenticized that way yet. That was good. But I'll be on Apple soon enough when I'm supposed to be. So anyway, follow me, stick with me, stay tuned for the next episode. And you know what? Love yourself. Just love yourself.